Today was a huge day. It was the first day back at work after my sabbatical. And I just want to record this now whilst the feeling is still fresh. Because this moment, well, it's one of the most emotionally confusing points on the whole life redesign journey. Not because of burnout or the quitting or even the sabbatical itself, because it's the day after, when the world looks the same. Your job looks the same. Your calendar looks the same, but you don't. Today didn't feel bad, but it didn't really feel good either. It felt layered, like two versions of me were overlapping. The old, capable, competent work Nick and the calmer, more intentional version I built whilst I was away. And if you've ever changed on the inside while life kept moving on the outside, well, you'll know exactly what I mean. This is Life After Enough, a podcast about money, meaning, and the life you design when work becomes optional. I'm your host, Nick. Let's get into it. So what's actually changed? The biggest difference isn't the job. It's how I relate to it. Before, work organized my entire life. Everything else had to fit around it. Now, life is the center and work has to earn its place. That's subtle, but actually massive. I don't really feel like I've returned to work. I feel like I've re-entered it deliberately. Almost like, let's see what happens if I don't give this automatic priority anymore. This doesn't feel like a step back into my old life. It feels like a test run of whether work can fit into the new one. And on a day like this, there's a strange dissonance. I still know how to do this job. Well, hopefully I do. People still see me as that version of me. But internally, I've slowed down. I've reconnected with my body. I've built parts of myself outside of work. And when all of those different identities overlap, it can feel uncomfortable. And that doesn't mean you've done something wrong. It usually means growth is still integrating. And throughout the entire day, I keep reminding myself that this isn't regression, it's recalibration. One thing I'm doing very deliberately this time is setting boundaries before work sets them for me. And my key insight is that boundaries aren't just about saying no to things. They're also about protecting what is important to you and what grounds you. For me, on my sabbatical, I had two non-negotiables, which I'm carrying through into my new back-to-work life. The first is my morning boot camp. During the sabbatical, it was a wonderful leisurely affair starting at 9 a.m., followed by a gorgeous coffee at my favorite coffee shop. Now, it's a 7 a.m. get up and go situation, but that's fine. It's less convenient, but still sacred. And it will keep me grounded in those stressful times at work when I do need something else outside of it to focus on. The other thing is this podcast. It didn't even exist before the sabbatical, and it does exist now. If something connected you to yourself outside of work, then it's not something that's optional. It's actually really, really essential to you as a person. And in all of this, what I'm trying to do is reframe work as a kind of experiment. So instead of asking, can I survive work again and being all dramatic about it, I'm asking, can work fit into the new life I've designed? And that's a completely different question. This isn't a lifelong recommitment. It's a trial with new rules. This leads to thinking about things from a place of curiosity instead of obligation, and observation instead of self-betrayal. And then let's just zoom out for a moment, because this episode isn't just for people returning from sabbaticals. Most people won't take 6 months off in one go, but almost everyone has experienced the same feeling. The two versions of me feeling that shows up after maybe burnout, parental leave, a health scare, therapy, or hitting a financial milestone, or finally admitting, I don't want to live like this forever. The outside world just expects you to snap back, perform like before, and pretend nothing has shifted. But internally, your tolerance has completely changed. You've rewired your nervous system to taste something calmer. Your priorities are clearer, and the tension that comes out of that isn't failure, it's integration. Quick pause. If this episode is sparking something for you, hit follow so you don't miss what's coming next. Feel free to share it with someone who'd love it too. It really helps the show to grow. The mistake people make here is to try and erase the new version of you and your life that you've built, instead of letting it renegotiate the terms. What you don't need is permission, a dramatic exit, or a perfect plan. Sometimes the bravest move is simply saying, I'm not going back to the old default, even if the outside still looks the same. Growth doesn't always look like change. Sometimes it looks like staying, but just doing it differently. So if you're returning from a sabbatical, parental leave, burnout, or even a mental reset, and if work feels off, well, that's normal. You didn't go backwards. Actually, you've expanded. So protect all of those things that grounded you. Movement, creativity, writing, quiet mornings. Adjust them, it's inevitable, but don't abandon them. You're allowed to return changed. You're allowed to renegotiate the terms. And here's the question I'll leave you with. What part of the person you became recently are you quietly afraid work will erase? And what would it look like to protect that one thing? So look, today was a big day for me, but it wasn't a step back. In fact, it was a step in, with awareness and with a sense of curiosity to see how this will work going forwards. This is the day after the sabbatical, and I'm genuinely curious to see what kind of life I can hold on to while still showing up to the office every day. This is the Life After Enough podcast, and I'm your host, Nick. Follow, like, and share if you're ready to design a life that's yours. See you next week.